All right, Kevin Hambly, thanks for being on the show, man. It's been a long time since we've been together.
It's
When's the last time
yeah.
we even connected?
I think the last time I saw you well, I don't even know. I have no idea. It's at least 15 years.
15
yeah,
years,
at least
yeah.
15. At least.
That's cool.
Not longer. So yeah, it's
appreciate you taking time. I know this is kind of a good time as everyone's trying to just figure out what's happening in the world, and but we'll get into it a little bit as it pertains to you and volleyball. But I appreciate you taking some time. I don't really know your story so much. When and why did you ever first get into volleyball?
Yeah, I actually was bribed by my mother to get into volleyball. The first time I played, I had some friends that were girls that were playing. They were on the women's team, and I was hanging around, and my mom was, I was 14 or something,
14,
and I was out there trying to hit some balls, and they were teaching me how to hit. And my mom watched, like, I think you'd be pretty good at that. And I was like, I'm a football, basketball guy. Like, that's not my deal. And then my mom bribed me my sophomore year with a Georgetown Hoyas hat because Alonzo Mourning. I loved Alonzo Mourning, And so that's how I got into volleyball. And I tried out and played the first little tryout deal, and it came pretty quick. And, the rest of it kind of took off from there.
14. So you were just like getting into high school kind of ish?
Yeah, I probably was between 8th and 9th grade, but I didn't play until I was in 10th grade. That was my first year playing.
Yeah. Huh.
So, like, really organized.
So then, you get better a little bit, and then when do you figure out, like, oh, this is something that I want to maybe do and go play in college? And
yeah, not till my senior year, actually. I thought I was going to be a basketball guy. I was looking at schools, and the schools I was looking at were like Montana State, Pacific, and, good schools, but I kind of was leaning towards a bigger school experience, or wanted to get a bigger school experience.
Yeah.
And the only place that was really recruiting me for that was volleyball. And, the more I looked at it, I was a much better volleyball player relatively than I was a basketball player. I would have been a medium at best basketball player at a Division I school at best. So I made the right choice. But as a kid, as my dream was to play college basketball. Yeah. So I made the right choice. It was a hard choice, but I made the right choice.
Yeah. So you go to BYU. Any memories like kind of stand out during your time playing for Carl and just being in Provo? And I obviously got a bunch, but I'm just curious if you have any that stand out.
There's a million things that stand out. My favorite times were just being with the boys in the gym, just practicing every day. I think Carl put together great practices. I think Carl was better with you guys than he was with us. He was figuring out how to be a coach, but he was a great teacher.
Lost you.
Benches, like when I saw you.
There you go. Back.
You got me now?
Yeah, you're good now. Yeah.
There? Yeah. I think just being around that and just sitting on the benches with ice on the knees and all that stuff and talking to the boys, that was my favorite memories. But the first real big match with the team, we went from, when I was there, the year before I got there, they were 2-22 team.
Yeah.
And my second year, my sophomore year, we started to become a pretty good team. And then we played UCLA, and I think we were 2 in the country, and they were 1 in the country. And we finally started to come, and the place was 7,000 people at Smith Fieldhouse, and it was rocking. And that was, those are all good memories. So but really, just the being around the boys.
I caught the tail end of Carl's kind of grumpy old man kind of coaching philosophy, because when my freshman year, my first year at BYU, we were not good. Because we were really young. I think we had I think our starting 6 was like 5 freshmen and 1 junior. That was our starting 6. And so we kind of knew we would get good, but he was always so angry because we weren't as good as he wanted us to be. And grumpy old man would come out, and you'd get him on a bad day, and you'd be like, oh boy, don't get on Carl's bad side today.
But you were on his good side because you went snowboarding with him, didn't you?
Yeah.
Were you one of the few guys that actually took him up on that? We were all too scared. It's like, yeah, you guys can come skiing with me on Thursdays if you want. And None of us took him up on that deal. We were too scared of him. But no, you got a better Carl. I mean, I love Carl. I wouldn't change.
Yeah.
I'm glad I played for him. There's nothing I would change about my college experience, even though I don't know if BYU is the best fit for me as personally, but from a volleyball standpoint, I mean, and we were really good our junior year, and then my senior year, the year before you got there, I think you came in the year after I left. Yeah. We made the semifinals, but it was by smoke and mirrors, and it was kind of a miracle we pulled that off. But semifinals of the MPSF at that point. Yeah. But we were not great. So.
Do you remember my recruiting trip at all?
I do remember.
Do you really?
I remember. Yeah, you and Goose and in the truck, and we went out with my ex-wife now, my girlfriend at that time.
Yeah.
Marianne. We drove out to the haunted forest or whatever.
Right.
Yeah. There's not much else. There's not much else to do in Provo.
You know, it's so funny. I tell people this, people that I'm close to, but now I guess I'll tell everyone. So like, you know, me and Gabe, we were pretty high. Yeah. We were high recruits, you know, we were like big time recruits. And so, so BYU actually was my last official visit. So I'd already gone to my other 4 visits, and all of them were pretty much all cookie cutter the same. So like, you know, they would take me to some house party, and, you know, whatever it would look like. And they would try to show like what college life was all about. It's everything that people think a recruiting trip should be. And then I go out to Provo, and you're like, yeah, we're going to go out. And I'm thinking, oh, okay, so this isn't going to be any different. And then all of a sudden you take us out into the forest, and we're in Lehigh before Lehigh is this massive, like, you know, wherever it is now, and we're driving out into this corn maze, and you're like, this is what we do here.
This is, it's that or Hoagie Yogi. It's like that or Hoagie Yogi. One of the choices. I mean, like the BYU, it was rough, man. I felt bad for the visits. And I remember, I remember Goose. I was like, there's no way Goose is coming. Like there was just no way at the end of that deal. But I remember, I was the guy who went to Pacific. He was a nice player. He came that year too. Greg,
I know who you're talking about. Yeah, I don't remember his last name.
And he was a Mormon guy. Yeah, I can't remember. He was a Mormon guy.
Yeah.
And he was there for a good 5 minutes, and we were like, this guy's out. It's not for everybody. You had to want to be there for the ball.
No.
You just had to want to be there to play for Carl. Really, that's about it. I mean, or if
you're
Mormon.
I had a different vision. I had a different vision. Carl sold me. You know, I knew I was going to immediately start playing. I knew how good of a coach he was. We had a young team that we thought was going to be good. And of course, we ended up being really good. I mean, I wouldn't have changed it for anything either. So it was.
You guys were great. It was fun watching you guys develop and finish kind of because he shared the same vision with us. And you know, I chose to go there 2-22, and other schools I was looking at were, you know, USC and UCLA and Hawaii and all that. But I just believed Carl was going to get us there, you know. And so we didn't get quite there. We were one away from the year. And it was really cool to see you guys finish that off. Like I feel like all of us old guys felt like you guys were a little bit a part of that to help get that going. So
you guys
definitely because we failed.
Definitely laid a foundation that we felt even when we were there, because you could tell the program was kind of on the up and up, and that something was being built that we were trying to be a part of. And so
it was cool. Yeah. It was cool to see what Carl did there, and it's cool to see what it is now.
Yeah, because it's a perennial powerhouse now. It doesn't even. It's just every year they're just pumping out good programs. It's pretty incredible, actually. So
they had a good shot to win it this year, which is a bummer.
Really
I'm sure you got to see a couple of those matches. I'm sure.
Yeah, they were an exciting team this year. They had a ton of talent, so they'll be good next year again too. So I mean, they won't be hurting for talent next year either. They're going to pretty much have everyone back. So
it's really cool to see that.
Yeah,
see what Olmstead's done up there.
Yeah, he's doing a great job. So when did you know that you wanted to kind of turn the corner and pursue coaching as kind of, hey, this is I'm kind of into this. This is what I want to do moving forward in my life.
Well, when I was playing still, like I was an 18-year-old playing at BYU in the summer, I came home and I coached with Highline Volleyball Club, which was the club in the Valley. Like that's where I played. Actually, I played for West Coast, but it ended up being the same. People turned it into Highline Volleyball Club with Andy Reid.
Highline.
Yeah, well, I coached 16 and unders, and I remember like watching our 18s team play you guys and all that kind of stuff when you guys were younger. You were down playing well, then you were playing for Saddleback or something like that? And
I played for a little club in Huntington Beach, and then my senior year I played for Reebok Palisades, which ended up being SCVA, where they turned it into that. So
that's right. Anyway, but I started coaching then and kind of trying it on to see if that's what I wanted to do, and I loved it. Coached 16 and unders the next 2 years. We're around some great coaches. Alan Knipe was the 18s coach while I was the 16s coach. Schroeder, who was a club guy that's been there for a long time. He was one of the coaches there as well. So I kind of just got the bug then, and then I knew that once I was done playing, I was going to go that direction, and I was done pretty quick. Like I did the 1 year in France, and had a chance to go play in Italy. Had an extended tryout there, and they sent me home. But I was just like, you know what, I don't feel like chasing this dream. I'd rather get into the coaching side of it. My limit was going to be where I was probably anyway as a player. I think I could have strived to maybe I could have pushed to be a little bit better, but I got to play in A2 Italy for about 3 weeks, and I could play at that level, and that was my level. That was my reach with what gifts that I was given. So I felt totally at peace with my career being over.
How did you like playing the 1 year overseas in France? I mean, was it something that you look back on as like, that was a good decision?
It was amazing. I loved it, and
where were you? What city?
Montpellier, which is really cool.
Yeah.
And I got to play with Louis Degager, who was like French national team starter. So,
that guy is with the dreadlocks, right?
Dude, he didn't have dreads then.
Oh,
he was just starting to grow them then. Yeah, he was just starting to grow.
That guy was a trip.
Came out here. He was a stud.
He's a good awesome player.
He was great. He's a great guy. He was out here 2 years ago and came and hung out with me in Palo Alto actually.
Oh, cool.
A couple of days. Yeah, it's cool. But no, I love that. I loved it. In hindsight, as much as I love traveling and like getting to know culture now, I would have liked to just kind of go play and just do a lot of guys have done and just go explore. I had a chance to go to Argentina and play, and now in Buenos Aires, and now I've been down to Buenos Aires. I'm like, this place would have been dope. Yeah. But I wasn't thinking that way then. I was just thinking, I gotta make money, I gotta survive, I gotta I can make some money playing, but this isn't sustainable. I got these chances to go coach. I'm gonna go jump into this, and it worked out. I wouldn't change anything, but it would have been nice to kind of explore a little bit.
Yeah. So anyway, you kind of get going in your coaching career. You kind of your first coaching in college was in Vegas, right?
UNLV with teacher Collins. Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was cool. And she was a former Olympian. And then I went to the national team from 01 to 04 as the assistant, which was awesome to be with Huey. And then Rob Browning, we shared an office, and Robin Romansky, who was our technical, and that was a really fun time, really cool time for coaching, and like be around Doug and Toshi was so different than Carl. It was really, I learned a lot. And then I went to Illinois, and then I was there for 13 years, and I've been here. So well, I've been lucky. I haven't had to bounce around like a lot of coaches, but and I never expected to leave Illinois, but Stanford was too good of an opportunity to pass up.
So 13 years at Illinois, what do you think you learned the most there while coaching?
How to program, like how to run a program, both of those things. I think a lot of times we think about coaching, we think about the training and the teaching, and that stuff's important. And I spend my time trying to get better at that and explore and try to, explore all the motor learning books I can. And, and look at biomechanics and look at how to manage loads. And, I'm always constantly trying to educate myself, but running a program is really what college athletics is about. It's about managing your athletes and managing your administration and managing up, managing down, how to handle boosters, how to handle run an event, like all that kind of stuff. So Illinois was a big deal there. It was a small little community where volleyball, we'd sell out, our season tickets before the season would start. And by the time I left, and it was really fun to build that up. And I learned a ton in that time and felt prepared to kind of go anywhere in the collegiate level from that experience, and met some amazing people and all that stuff as well. But I think the thing I learned most is here's how you really run a program, not have a team. You can have a team, but to run a program, you got to have your hands on everything.
Yeah. When you first went to Illinois, the program was kind of building, right? And you guys kind of build, and finally, you go to a final, and which they'd never done before, and so that must have been pretty fun as a coach, kind of taking over a program.
It was really. I mean, when we were there, Don Harden, who's an amazing guy, was the head coach, and he basically was like, "Look, here's the plan. I'm going to transition out of this, and I'm going to this. Hopefully, this program will be yours if everything goes the way we want it to.
Mm-hmm.
You can't promise me that job." Talked to the AD, and that was the plan. And so, within 2 years, like my wife, actually my wife now, who's my director of operations, she was the assistant coach. I was a volunteer, and then we transitioned after a year and a half. The two of us did most of the recruiting, the bulk of the recruiting for the 5 years before I was the head coach. And so we got to build from a recruiting standpoint, have a plan, and then slowly got to take over the culture. And then, it was like a real slow build. And so, yeah, I feel like the program was just okay when we got there, but I feel like in the time we got to take it to the elite level and see what that is, what it means to have an elite level program, but also all the work that it requires to get there. It's a lot of work. And I really enjoyed that work. But to be honest, the idea of going back to a program like that and starting over it's so much work. I'm not sure if it's that appealing to me.
Yeah.
That's why Stanford made sense in a lot of ways.
Yeah. So let's talk. So you take a job at Stanford. I'm assuming it's a Stanford, so you got high expectations. How's it been utilizing the resources available to you there, compared to what you just experienced in building it at Illinois?
Well, I feel like at Illinois, the minute we hit a final and we were ranked top 5 a couple of years there, everyone assumed we were just going to win the championship, and everyone assumed that we'd go back. But it's a really tough place to recruit to. Illinois is a really tough place to recruit to. It's island in the middle of cornfields, and and we figured out how to recruit and what athletes we need to get there, but it was just hard to sustain. You're seeing it now. And Chris Thomas is a great coach out there. Yeah. And I felt like when I left, the program was, it's going to be cyclical. You're going to have these teams that you're building, and you can be in the mix like every 3-4 years. And that's kind of what's happened with when things are going well. That's what's happening, and that happened there for us. And Chris will probably make the same it'll be the same kind of turn. It'll be like a couple of years where they got to get the young kids, kind of like it was at BYU when we left. Like you had to build it up, and so, but the expectations every year were the same. Like, you're going to win the national championship, you're going to go to the Final Four every single year. And Chris has got to deal with that now, because I think that's just what the expectations are, which to me were a little bit unrealistic, but I created that. So I knew, I created that expectation. So I have to live in it. And the difference at Stanford is we have the same expectations, but it's a little bit easier place to recruit, or a lot easier place to recruit. And we have the talent here that we can be in the mix every single year. So I actually feel like in some ways, those expectations, having been at both places, it's easier here to deal with those expectations because I feel like we're equipped every single year to do that. And then the athletes come in with that expectation that they should win a national championship in their time. They need to win a national championship in their time. But more importantly, they believe that they can. And so I think all that stuff, I felt like we're fighting an uphill battle at Illinois. And we did at times, and it worked, and sometimes it didn't. Where at Stanford, it's just built into the DNA of what this place is to be a champion. And so that makes it a little bit easier.
Yeah.
I know that exactly answers your question. That's my perspective on how it is here.
No, your perspective is probably the perspective that means most to anybody because you're the one that's living it, right? So I don't think I can rely on anyone else. So,
totally.
I had Karch on the show, and I asked him a question. I said, do you think anybody's going to, because he's still the only person to ever win gold on the beach and indoor. And I said, do you think that's ever going to happen again? And he goes, yeah, it'll happen again. What his answer kind of blew me away, because I can't believe I've never really thought of this, but it makes total sense. Look, winning gold on the beach and indoors would be incredible for someone. I mean, it takes somebody like him to be able to do that, right? And the game has changed so much since he's done that I think maybe it's even more difficult nowadays, you could argue. His response was, what he really wants to see is he wants to see someone win gold in the beach and indoor in the same Olympics. And I was like, oh my, like I'd never thought, because the idea of that is so astronomical. It would take a freak of nature. And it was interesting because the person that he brought up was your girl, was Catherine Plummer.
Yeah.
And
she has the ability to do that. Yeah.
Wow. So I watched her play a little bit, and I was obviously impressed. She's an amazing player. I've never seen her play on the beach, but
she's more impressive on the beach.
Are you serious?
Yeah, well, because the beach just doesn't have a lot of 6'6" athletes running around
That's
that
true.
can do what she does. Like, I mean, I remember my first year here, she was playing with Jenna Gray, who was our 6'1" setter last year, and they were our number ones team. And they were playing against the SC team. That was the team that no one beat. Clays, and I'm not good at remembering those guys, but they were tall redhead and blonde. And like they had the big kid who was, I thought was going to be a big kid when I walked out there. And you walk out on the sand and I see Catherine and Jenna walk out, and their big was Jenna's size, like 6'1".
Wow.
And Plummer's just, a head over everybody.
Sure.
And can move and play. So
right.
The physicality of the indoor game is, it's just different. It's just a different level based on at least collegiate volleyball. Obviously, Carrie Walsh, I mean, she's 6'2", 6'3", and I mean, she was a great indoor player as well, as a lot of these guys were. But I mean, Plummer compared to most indoor players is pretty physical. But then they get out there on the beach where they're a little bit slighter and a little bit shorter. She's a stud. She could do it. I just don't know how the body holds up. Having coached at Olympics and every other day, and how hard that is. And
oh my gosh,
it would be incredible.
Yeah, it would be. I mean, you'd almost have the need the FIVB to kind of customize the if there was somebody that was really actively trying to do it. Like if you had somebody that had qualified on the beach and also qualified indoor, and then that gets wind of the FIVB, it would be in their benefit to be like, okay, so let's do this like bang, bang, bang. Because in the Olympics, it's play, day off, play, day off.
Yeah.
So, I mean, realistically, you could go play, but oh my gosh.
It
would take something incredible. In my mind, I can't fathom it. Even going through what we went through, what it takes to win a gold indoor, and then being able to do that both indoor and outdoor, put in the practice time in both needed. I mean, it would just take an athlete that would be on another level.
I just think of Michael Phelps and all those conversations they had about what he had to do with his body to be able to get through all those events, and the number of calories he had to eat and all that kind of stuff. It would take a team of scientists to help them. If it was Catherine, to help Catherine kind of go through that. I mean, if someone's capable of it, I mean, she certainly has the skill set and the ability to be great on both. But man, it would be an amazing feat. That's a great thought by Karch.
Oh, I know. It blew me away. I was taken aback when I heard, because I'd never fathomed it. And I'm like, wow, I thought the gold was the pinnacle, but that's really the pinnacle. But
right.
If you could even say that's even attainable, but I guess who knows. But
then go win the snow gold or whatever else. That's the snow volleyball championship. Later. I'm not sure Catherine would want to take on that training. She's a SoCal girl. She doesn't want that part of it, but who knows? Anyway.
What I was impressed watching her was how much range she has out of the back row when she hits out of the bic. I'm just like, man, she's hitting the ball just to the angles so much more range than what I've seen anyone really. I mean, I'm not even talking just female. It's like her ability to turn the ball was pretty impressive. I was like, wow, she's special.
Yeah, she's special. Her control. I mean, the things that I enjoyed most about her were at the end. She was injured her senior year, and she was her first couple of years. She was just a clubber, right? Just go up and whack it in the cross, and if you can dig me, good luck. But and she put up good numbers and all that. But she really started adding things to her game. And her senior year, actually, when she was out and she got to kind of sit back and watch the game a little bit, see what was open. When she came back into our team, the poise that she played with, like her ability to take advantage of the team's defense, whether that's a tip or a jam or just wipe or hit the line because it's there, and roll shots, all that kind of stuff. Like the game was really slow for her when she got back into it, and she just made incredible choices that weren't always the big, crush, the cross, or just the big hammer. To me, what was more exciting was the stuff she was doing that was off speed and open hand stuff that a lot of the men's team are doing now. When I watch them, you watch high level men's. I mean, they're playing all their out of system stuff. They're playing it tight. They're wiping, jamming. I mean, not all of it, but a lot of it's played that way, and recycling and all that stuff. And she watched a lot of that volleyball, a lot of that high level men's volleyball, and she started to implement that. I'm really excited to see where her game goes, playing, where she's challenged more at a higher level, playing against the professional teams than the international teams.
Yeah. I love how volleyball is slowly becoming And who knows, it might even be there. It's not even men's and women's anymore. It's just volleyball.
Yeah.
Like the women's game is becoming so close to what the men are doing nowadays. It's like there's a couple things that are still there, but it's so much the margin is so much smaller now. It's just we're just going out and playing. We're just balling.
Yeah, I don't know that I would coach a team very much different. I mean, different if I was coaching men's. I do think that the pick is a little bit better on the men's side than the women's side, and the serving is a little bit different. But the way we're trying to play was modeled after high-level men's international volleyball. That's the stuff that we're watching. And that's no offense to Karch's team, but like the stuff they're doing at that level just resonates with us as a coaching staff and the stuff we're pushing for. So, I mean, not even just Karch's team, but the women's volleyball. It's just the way that they're playing makes so much sense.
Yeah.
And the way that they're just looking for opportunities to score because they have to, because the margins are so thin and it's so hard to score. Right. I mean, it's so hard to score at the high-level men's international right now. It's awesome at the out of system especially.
Yeah,
I just enjoy watching that.
What do you think it's going to take for the women to finally get over the hump? You know, the men, we got 3 gold medals, multiple bronzes. The women got multiple silvers, but they haven't been able to get over the hump. Do you think, Tokyo's the time for it? Is it? I mean, everybody hopes, but
right. I mean, it could have been any one of these Olympics.
Yeah.
I think it could have. It's just you got to play your best at the right time.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Huey's group I thought had a really good shot. Brazil just played out of their minds in the last 3 sets, and they had a rough loss. They had a rough injury. Going to the last Olympics, Karch did.
Right.
Otherwise, they probably are there.
Yeah.
So I just think stay healthy, be right, and they just got to keep putting themselves in the position to win it, and that's all you can do. And then you got to kind of get a little lucky and make some plays, and things work out. I mean, the margins were really thin for you guys when you won.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
To me, it's just crazy. I don't think people really understand. They're like, oh, you guys were really good, so of course you're going to win. It's like, no, like you're playing against teams that are as good or even better than you. It's like, it's just those little tiny plays here or there. It's like you said, it's a lucky ball here or there.
Yeah.
And you're just in the right place at the right time. And that's what puts you over the top versus, winning a silver medal. And I gotta tell you, my life would be dramatically different if I had won silver versus a gold.
Yeah.
That's just how we are as Americans. And whether it's fair or not, doesn't matter. It's just people respect the gold. If you tell them you win silver, they're like, oh, that's cool. But you tell them you're a gold medalist, and it's like holy cow. You know what I mean? It's I just told you I won silver, and I actually asked Reed that too because Reed won gold, and then he wins bronze. But even how he maybe even feels like he needs to promote himself, you hardly ever hear about the bronze. But he's a gold medalist, which means so much more, and it's crazy when you think about it.
It's really sad. It's what's really hard about that to me. It's the same as like winning a national championship or not winning a national championship. I mean, we play Nebraska 2 years ago in the final. The difference was 1 point in the match, like overall score. It was 1 point. Now and so you're going. I mean, we were equal teams. Like in that match on that day, we were equal teams, but one of us ended up pulling that out. And the effect that has on everyone's psyche, like. It's because the world's collapsing and we're supposed to win it the next year, no problem. But it was really hard to win it in that time. And I think the challenge is for the athletes. Like the challenge is like it's none of that's real. Like none of it's as bad as you think, and none of it's as good as you think. And like you got to look at it like you can't. I think the hardest thing that, or let me say it this way. The most important thing that I try to talk to our athletes about is in all this, as we're going through our journey, is not allowing their identity to be wrapped up in that success or loss. Like, are you doing your best? Are you trying to achieve at the highest level you can? Yeah. Have you done everything you can to prepare yourself? Then be at peace with whatever the result is, and let's just go out and ball. Yeah. And it's not gonna. You're right. Like, it'll define. A lot of people will define you by that moment in that match.
That's them.
Don't define yourself by
that. That's them. They're going to define you that way. If you're at peace with what you've put in, then you're good.
Yeah. But if you allow other people to define who you are, then that's when things go a bad direction. And I'd say the same for coaches, and probably, the same for, I know my wife, when we had kids, she was a worker. She was out in the workforce. And then all of a sudden we made the choice that she was going to be at home. And that hurt her. That was hard on her identity. Like I don't see myself as a stay-at-home mom. So even that piece, I think everything we do and she started to see herself that way, and she really had conflict with that. And I think with just seeing herself, like, I'm not a stay-at-home mom. That's not who I am as a person. It's like, of course you're not. You're married. Right. But this is what you've chosen to do right now. We got to be at peace with that. You know, I think in all of our choices in life, like the things we do aren't who we are. And I think that separation, for me, it's a lesson that a thing that we're talking about a lot with our team and our athletes, you know, especially talking about Plummer, 2-time player of the year,
right?
You know, like all that stuff, like it's easy for her to become that, but she's not. She's done a great job of, like, I am Catherine, and right. I am dope. And she's a cool human being. And I hope that she can fight that battle and keep that up. Because if she did win 2 golds in beach and indoor, there would be a lot of people trying to make her something besides Catherine. And I think it's a big challenge for all the athletes and all the coaches that are in this world, with the way that external forces focus on us, you know?
Yeah. Well said. Talk to me about 2020. What if the season happens? What do you think it looks like? What changes are you hearing potentially could happen? I'm just curious. Like, as a coach of a defending national championship team, what are you worried about? What's on your mind right now?
We tend not to worry on the things we can't control.
Right.
So we're just kind of trying to get the information and see what's the best way to go about it. If I had to guess what the season looks like, I mean, I think we're going to start on time. I don't want to be fatalistic about it, but I'll be surprised if we don't end early some level or postpone our season, just because of the way this virus seems to be cycling through. And what that means could mean a month, could mean 6 weeks. I mean, look at some of these teams trying to get back, and then all of a sudden, I mean, I just heard about the women's soccer league. They're up in Utah, and they had an outbreak, you know, and the team's already shut down. So I think teams will start shutting down. Hopefully the whole season doesn't shut down, but I think it's likely that we'd have some kind of abbreviated season without fans in the stands for the whole time, would be my guess. Just family and friends, and
just gonna pump in noise.
Pumping noise, and, you know, but also be really just grateful that we get to play volleyball and be around each other and have a team. I think that's what we're talking about as a team. Yeah, it'll stink, especially for the seniors, right? Like the seniors, if this is their last shot at it. I mean, rough. I think the freshmen, it stinks, but like they're gonna get 3 more shots at it. But the seniors, like, this is how it ends, and it's not how you envision any of it. My heart breaks for them most, but I think it's just, we're all just talking about, you know, I think seeing what basketball went through and seeing what our swim team, like, who won 3 national championships in a row, and then they're going to the finals that week that everything kind of shut down. And to have their season ended when they were the number 1 team and had a chance. Like, so for us, it's like, you know, it could be a lot worse. Like, this could be a lot worse. We could have our season ended, and hopefully we don't have that happen. But I think we're prepared for that to happen, and we're prepared to have no fans. We're prepared to have an abbreviated season, and it's not going to feel the same. But let's just hope we can all play together and be around each other again.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but that's all speculation, because no one knows really.
So tell me, just, you know, I know it's early in your career there at Stanford, and you know, what does the future look like for you in your mind? Do you have any national team plans? You know, obviously you're not thinking of anything beyond what you're doing right now, but you're just enjoying what you're doing, and life goes on. And
there was a time when I like to go back to the national team and coach, I think. But are you still there, Ryan?
Yeah, I got you.
Okay. There was a time when okay, cool. I did it where I would have liked to have gone back to the national team maybe and try that again, because I felt like we failed pretty miserably in 2004, and it was disappointing, and just to have another run at it. But now that I'm here, like, this place is, I would never want to give this up, this job up. It's just it's a really cool place to be, and I hope I can end my career here. I mean, that won't be up to me. It'll be up to my administrators, you know, over the next few years. But I think we are recruiting at a high level. We're in with the kids we need to be in with, all that stuff. We can get talent here. So I'm hoping we can keep it going. If I don't screw things up too bad, maybe we'll have a shot at being here for the rest of our career. I'd like to retire here and then go to Santa Barbara and just hang out down there and go, I don't know, standing paddleboarding and all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Go play some beach at State Beach.
Yeah. What about you? What do you want to do? You want to get into coaching? I know you coached for 1 year, right? You did that for a season.
Yeah, I did. It was good. You know, I had fun. It was good to be in the gym, and, you know, I like coaching. I could see me doing it at some point. Right now, I'm so I'm in the business world right now. I'm a management consultant. So I'm working for a firm, and I've done that for almost 8 years now. And this podcast just kind of came up through a connection that I had with a company called CrossSNET. I don't know if you're familiar with CrossSNET. Have you ever seen that?
I've seen it. Yeah. I saw
Pesco. Pesco loves it. Yeah.
Pastor Lacey had it going on in his gym before it was a product.
Oh yeah. So, he's just putting like cloths and stuff together. Yeah, so
he was a stud. That guy is amazing.
I love that guy. He's such a good guy. And,
he is one of the best.
But these guys, I mean, all praise to them. These two brothers and a friend, they just decide they want to put together the system, and they've blown up, and it's awesome for them. So they want to get more involved in the volleyball community, and we hooked up, and they're like, hey, we should do a volleyball podcast. And I'm like, yeah, that'd be great. So, cool. And I love still being around the sport. I'll go play beach, play some tournaments every once in a while here. It'll be good to go down to San Diego and get back in the game. And whether coaching happens in the future, I don't know, but I'm open to opportunities, but we'll see.
Yeah. That's cool. It'd be good for you to give back all the stuff you learned.
Oh, totally.
All the knowledge you have. I know, but I know it's a major commitment. And it's hard, and you're working. But it's nice to have the national team guys back, and it's cool to like coaching. It's good to see those guys and women out there coaching. So
yeah. Well, let's switch gears a little bit. I want to just pick your brain on I'm just going to do some random questions for you. Okay.
Okay.
And these are kind of just short, kind of bang answers, whatever you can. The first one might give you some pause. You have to think about it a little bit. So I want you to name your all-time women's college volleyball team. So you're starting 7. Everyone's in their prime, and you get to be the coach. Who are you putting on the court?
Okay. Well, there's a couple easy ones. Morgan.
Let's start with your outsides. Who are your outsides?
Okay. Plummer.
Okay.
Man, I got Plummer, Logan Tom, and then Stacy Gordon.
Okay.
Are there 3? I have in case one of them's struggling, which probably won't happen. Yeah.
That's a good bench.
Yeah.
Who are your middles?
My middles, Harmato in college was an absolute.
Yeah, she was
one of my favorite players ever. Yeah. Shoot. My other middle, Faluka. Faluka was a beast. Yeah.
She still is.
I don't know why that took me too long.
How about your right side?
My right side, I mean, Hooker, probably right side.
Yeah, she'd be in her prime. Yeah.
With a gunner backing her up.
Yeah, she was good. She was fun to watch too. Yeah. Okay, who's your setter or who's your libero?
Well, Morgan Hansen's my libero. There's no doubt. If I'm going to war, I'm going with Morgan. She's ridiculous. Setter's really hard.
Yeah.
Setter's really hard.
Because you only get one. There's been a lot of good ones.
Yeah, and I mean, Jenna Gray won 3 championships. Alicia won 3.
Yeah.
Misty May was one of the best players I've ever seen. I'll just go old school and go with Misty.
Yeah.
She was
you imagine Misty running that team right there? Oh my gosh.
No. Well, I can't imagine any of those guys running that team.
You wouldn't even have to do anything. You just sit down and be like, all right, you guys, go ahead.
Yeah. Right.
You want to call timeout? Go ahead.
No, there wouldn't be a need.
They wouldn't need a timeout. That's true. They would give their timeouts to the other team. Like, hey, you guys can have our timeouts.
Yeah.
No. Okay, that's a good starting 7 right there. Let's see here. All right. If people had to describe you in one word, what would you hope it would be?
Whoa. One word. What would I hope it would be? I would hope that it would be genuine.
Yeah.
Just like the real deal. Yeah. Just like always myself.
Yeah. What's a trait that you most dislike about yourself?
Man, there's too many. There's so many. Trait. Let me think. Which I wish I was less defensive. At times, I wish I was less defensive. I think that doesn't allow me to learn. I'm working on that one. But if I had to say the one that I wish I was less defensive.
I think you got a lot of people that would pick that one as well. How about a trait you most dislike in others? Does anything just like Irk you?
lying,
Oh yeah,
liars. Yeah, I can't do anything with that.
that's
I tell
tough.
my team that all the time. Like, if you make mistakes, I'm cool, but if you lie to me, I don't know what to do with that. I don't
Yeah,
know where to start. So.
yeah. Have you had any near-death experiences?
Well, not one I remember, but when I was 18 months old, I had pneumonia really bad,
Oh wow.
and we didn't have a ton of money, and so we were in the hospital, and a doctor paid all my bills, like for my parents, like because
Wow.
I was in there, I think, for 3 months, and it was a struggle. I mean, I've heard stories about it, but I don't remember it. But that's the closest
Yeah.
thing I've had.
Man,
Yeah,
oh man, 3 months.
yeah.
In and out of the hospital, 3 months, 18
No,
months.
I was there. I was
Oh, you
there.
were there in the hospital.
My parents were like, we can't afford this, and
Right.
some doctor paid for the whole bill.
Wow, that's amazing.
I tried to find him, and I haven't been able to find him. I was in Granada Hills, but I haven't been able to find him.
You'd be on a reality TV show if you could track him down.
Right.
Let's see. If you never got into volleyball, what would you be doing right now?
I would hope. Well, one of two things: either making movies. I want to make movies, produce, and all that. Would be cool. I think that'd be fun. I like telling. Would love to tell stories. Or hopefully, I would have got into basketball coaching. I would have been a basketball coach. I like coaching.
You still play basketball a little bit?
My body doesn't allow me to do anything anymore.
Amen.
Yeah. I'll get some shots up. They got those cool machines now. You get in the gym and the balls. If I had those machines where the ball just feeds you,
yeah.
Oh man, I would have got 1,000 shots up at BYU with the men's when I was playing volleyball. I mean, I would have died to have that thing. But I'll go do that sometimes for a little bit of a workout. But it's still there after a while. I can still get the shot up.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Like
Do you play?
No, I mean, I grew up really enjoying it. I was a little bit like you. I grew up, I always wanted to play basketball. Before I found volleyball, I was like all into basketball. But same thing, like I would have been very average. Yeah. And I was not very average at volleyball. So to me, it just kind of made sense to just keep playing volleyball. So
I feel like that's a story of a lot of guys that are involved.
Yeah.
It's like we were just going to
be
medium.
Yeah. Dream vacation. Where are you going?
I've hit a lot of my dream vacation spots. Like I just went to Cambodia and Vietnam.
Oh, cool.
This last year with a buddy, Tim Kelly, a buddy of mine. Yeah. We just like cruised around and like just the two of us. That was cool. I mean, right now it would be Antarctica. I want to get down to Antarctica. I want to check that out. Yeah. So I've been knocking stuff off the list. That in northern India. Mine aren't going to be sitting on the beach somewhere. I'm going to want to be hiking around and active, and like I want to get to Kathmandu and then get down to India and do some of that stuff. So
wow,
that would be
some good ones.
Yeah, I don't know. I like I said earlier, I like to explore different cultures and check it out. So
that's cool. Last meal on Earth. What are you having? You get to have whatever you want.
Strip? No, not strip. We'll go filet with a little bit of Roquefort butter on there.
Oh, that's nice.
Some frits, so some fries, and I probably throw some veg in there, even though it's my last one. It doesn't matter anymore. But some grilled asparagus, and then we'll do like a molten chocolate cake on the side.
Nice. That's a good.
Flourless chocolate cake on the side. Flourless chocolate cake on the side. Yeah. So.
Name a movie where you teared up.
Let me think. A lot. I mean, there's been quite a few. I'm not afraid to tear up. Last one I just saw. Seattle. For whatever reason, I got emotional in the middle of that. The little boy killed me.
Uh-huh.
Did I lose you? Did I lose you?
No. We heard it. Sleepless in Seattle, right?
Okay. Yep.
Yeah.
I'm not afraid to admit that.
Are you a Netflix guy?
I mean, we have every imaginable app, Disney Plus, Netflix. I mean, especially now. So we don't even have cable anymore.
No. You don't need cable. We don't have cable here either. We just have Apple TV, and then we have all the streaming apps, right? So, but we were watching this. There's a show on Netflix called Afterlife. It's with Ricky Gervais.
Okay.
If you liked Ricky Gervais,
I'll check it out.
But the problem with the show is it's the funniest show and the saddest show all together. Yeah.
Cool.
And so you're just like laughing hysterically, and then you're just bawling because the premise of the show just kind of it sidetracks you. But then Ricky Gervais is comedic genius, so he knows how to mix the two. You should check it out. Afterlife.
I'll check it out for sure. Yeah. Cool. I like a good cry. It's okay.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that. Yeah.
Totally.
My kids make fun of me, but they make fun of me for all kinds of things. So it doesn't matter anymore.
That's awesome. Kevin, man, I appreciate you taking time. This is cool to to connect again and hear your voice and catch up on what you're doing and get your perspective on things. Where can everybody find you? Are you on social media, the team? Where can they follow
zero
the
social
team?
media. Stanford Women's Volleyball.
Yeah.
At Twitter and at Stanford Women's Volleyball at Twitter, at Instagram, all that. I don't have Facebook. I don't have any of that stuff. So
yeah.
It doesn't help me. That stuff in life. Yeah. So I'm out of it. But anyway, it's really good talking to you too.
Yeah, you too, man. Hopefully the season starts when you hope it starts, and we'll be following you. We'll checking in.
Sounds good.
All right,
I'll
Kevin.
see you down in San Diego maybe sometime.
Take care, man.
Later, man.
Bye.
Bye.